From a group of mysterious angels surrounding the throne of heaven to a donkey that spoke like a man, the Bible is filled with strange, obscure creatures. Today, we'll dive into the top 10 most obscure characters in the Bible that we're willing to bet you never heard about. Their stories are at times intriguing and others terrifying. Before we dive into this video, be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you never miss a video from us. Now, let's get started. Number 1. The Ofanim. The Ofanim, also known as the Wheels, is a heavenly being appearing in the vision of the prophet Ezekiel. They are described as having the appearance of wheels intersecting each other, covered with eyes, and moving along with the 4 living creatures that are the cherubim. They are also associated with the spirit of living creatures and the glory of God. When the living creatures moved, the wheels beside them moved. When the creatures rose from the ground, the wheels also rose. In Ezekiel chapter 1, verses 19 to 21, we read, "Wherever the Spirit would go, they would go, and the wheels would rise along with them, because the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. When the creatures moved, they also moved. When the creatures stood still, they also stood still. And when the creatures rose from the ground, the wheels rose along with them, because the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels." Number 2. The Behemoth. The book of Job describes the giant as a vast, reed-dwelling giant that is beyond powerful for anyone to control but God. There are different ways to interpret its description in the book of Job. It's mentioned that it could drink an entire river, and its ferocity was significant enough to warrant mentioning it 4 times in a single line. Aside from big and strong, the closest thing we get to a descriptor is a line about how his force is in the navel of his belly, which means that, contrary to popular belief, whatever Job was describing was most likely not a dinosaur, because animals that hatch from eggs are typically short on navels. Even though numerous of its physical characteristics, most notably the tail, like a cedar, do not correspond to either species, the beast is frequently categorized as a hippopotamus or elephant. According to most young Earth creationists, Behemoth is a dinosaur similar to the Apatosaurus or Diplodocus. It is also said to feed on grass like an ox, and to lie under the lotus plants and in the marshes. Job chapter 40 says, "Look at Behemoth, which I made along with you, and which feeds on grass like an ox. What strength it has in its loins, what power in the muscles of its belly. Its tail sways like a cedar, the sinews of its thighs are close knit. Its bones are tubes of bronze, its limbs like rods of iron." Number 3. Demons. These spiritual miscreants have no other purpose than the torment of men, both here and in the afterlife. Demons are evil spirits that oppose God and His people and seek to harm, deceive, and tempt them. They are also called unclean spirits, evil spirits, or devils. They are believed to be fallen angels who rebelled against God and followed Satan, the chief of the demons. And the angels who did not keep their positions of authority but abandoned their proper dwelling, these He has kept in darkness, bound with everlasting chains for judgment on the great day. Jude 1, verse 6. Demons can possess people and animals and cause various physical and mental afflictions. They can also perform false signs and wonders and promote false doctrines and idolatry. Revelation chapter 16 verse 14 says, "They are spirits of demons performing signs, and they go out to the kings of the whole world to gather them for the battle on the great day of God Almighty. Number 4. The Death Angel. Still on the subject of doom, the Death Angel is a term that is sometimes used to refer to an angel that executes God's judgment on the wicked by killing them. The Bible does not name or describe a specific angel as the Death Angel, but it does mention some instances where God sent angels to destroy people or nations. For example, in the Exodus story, God sent an angel to kill the firstborn of the Egyptians as the final plague. At midnight, the Lord struck down all of the firstborn in Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sat on the throne to the firstborn of the prisoner who was in the dungeon, and the firstborn of all the livestock as well. Exodus chapter 12, verse 29. Another example is in the book of 2 Kings, where an angel of the Lord killed 185,000 Assyrian soldiers who besieged Jerusalem. In 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 35, we read, "That night the angel of the Lord went out and put to death 185,000 in the Assyrian camp. When the people got up the next morning, there were all the dead bodies." However, these angels are not necessarily the same or exclusively assigned to killing. They carry out God's will and justice on His messengers and servants. Number 5. The Nephilim. According to Genesis chapter 6, the sons of God, typically regarded as fallen angels, observed the daughters of men. The Nephilim, a race of savage giants, were the offspring of angels who married human women. In terms of size, they are described in Numbers as being more significant than humans. According to the Book of Enoch, an apocryphal religious text that did not reach the final cut of the Bible, they were around a mile high. They are also thought to depict the corruption God felt forced to destroy during the Great Flood. The Nephilim are one of the most bizarre and terrifying monsters described in the Bible. In conclusion, the Nephilim were almost certainly the offspring of demons and human women. The Book of Numbers also mentions the Nephilim. However, at this stage in Israel's history, the term Nephilim was most likely used to refer to any towering, fearsome individuals, such as those seen in Canaan at the time, and elsewhere referred to as giants. Number 6. The Leviathan. The Leviathan is the second monster described in the passage Job's Behemoth. If the Behemoth allows for a lot of visual interpretation, the Leviathan is usually cryptic, making the Behemoth appear incomplete. Job goes into extreme detail, describing every horrible aspect of this creature's anatomy. The Behemoth is described as the beast of the land, but the Leviathan believes water to be his domain. It is covered in muscular folds and possesses a double-thick armor plate running down its back. It breathes forth flames. It has an impenetrable skin that is as hard as a stone. Job chapters 3, 8, and 41, verses 1 to 34, reference the Leviathan in the same context as the Behemoth. When you look at the beast, Leviathan, its name translates to coiled one. The description conjures up images of a massive serpentine sea monster. According to Psalm 74, the Leviathan breathes fire, has scales stronger than iron, can crush anything in its teeth, and has multiple heads. In various passages in the Bible, such as Psalm 74, the monster represents wickedness or Israel's enemies. Like the Behemoth, the Leviathan has been the subject of much debate over the years. Number 7. The Cherubim. As shown in Ezekiel, the cherubim is a heavenly order with many bodily complexities. They have 4 faces: a human, an ox, an eagle, and a lion. They all had 4 wings and straight legs, with polished bronzed bull hooves at the end. They are often assigned numerous heavenly responsibilities, the most notable of which being guarding the gates of Eden. Some Jewish traditions say that they are the 9th highest rank of angels. They are related to assisting individuals in overcoming their sins and becoming closer to God. Exodus also describes them as being sculpted onto the Ark of the Covenant lid. Like many other biblical creatures, human paintings and sculptures of the cherubim have changed aesthetically over time. Number 8. Nimrod. Nimrod was a great-grandson of Noah, through Noah's son, Ham. After the flood, as humanity began to spread out and repopulate the earth, Nimrod emerged as a powerful leader. His name itself suggests a warrior spirit, as Nimrod can mean "we will rebel" or "the valiant one." Nimrod wasn't just a hunter. He was also a builder of cities. He founded some of the earliest cities mentioned in the Bible, like Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar, ancient Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq. His influence was vast, and his legacy was cemented through these cities. One of the most intriguing aspects of Nimrod's story is his connection to the Tower of Babel. The Bible tells us that people unified by one language decided to build a massive tower to reach the heavens. They wanted to make a name for themselves and avoid being scattered across the earth. Nimrod, as a mighty leader, was at the forefront of this project. God, however, saw their pride and decided to intervene. He confused their language, causing them to speak in different tongues. This led to the abandonment of the tower and the scattering of people across the globe. Number 9. The Talking Donkey. Now, let's shift to another strange character in the Bible. The Talking Donkey, found in Numbers, chapters 22 to 24. Balaam was a non-Israelite prophet known for his ability to bless and curse. Although he wasn't an Israelite, he had a reputation far and wide. His story begins when Balak, the king of Moab, sees the Israelites camped near his land. Fearing their numbers and strength, he seeks Balaam's help to curse the Israelites. Balak sends messengers with riches to entice Balaam to come and curse the Israelites. Balaam, wanting to obey God, initially refuses, but when Balak persists with even more tempting offers, Balaam seeks God's guidance again. This time, God permits him to go, but warns him to say only what he commands. As Balaam sets off on his journey, something extraordinary happens. Balaam is riding his donkey, when suddenly, the donkey sees an angel of the Lord standing in the way with a drawn sword. Terrified, the donkey veers off the path. Balaam, not seeing the angel, beats the donkey to get back on track. This happens 3 times. The donkey sees the angel and tries to avoid it, and Balaam beats the donkey in frustration. Finally, God opens the donkey's mouth, and it speaks to Balaam. The donkey questions Balaam's harsh treatment, and Balaam, surprisingly, responds as if it's completely normal to converse with a donkey. At this point, God opens Balaam's eyes, and he sees the angel standing in the way. The angel explains that if the donkey hadn't turned aside, Balaam would have been killed. Number 10. Dragons. The dragon is the next stop on our journey through mythical biblical beings with hazy, maybe medieval origins. Due to inventive translation, dragons are mentioned 34 times in the King James's Bible. Some are mere allusions, such as Deuteronomy's "wine is the poison of dragons," and Micah chapter 1 verses 8's lyrical "Therefore I will wail and howl, I will go stripped and naked, I will make a wailing like the dragons and mourning like the owls." According to Isaiah, Once Babylon falls, dragons will haunt its palaces, doleful creatures, owls and even satyrs. Dragons reappear in chapter 34, bringing with them yet another city destroyed by the Almighty's wrath. It's worth noting that 17 of the numerous occurrences of dragon in the King James Bible are derived from the Hebrew word tannin, which is variously translated as whale in Genesis 1, verse 21, and sea monsters in Lamentations 4, verse 3, making it a sort of catch-all for big, intimidating animals. Which creature did you find the strangest? Be sure to share your thoughts with us in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe before you go, so that you never miss a video from us. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.